So again, thank you all so much for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about the New Jersey ABLE accounts. Cristine Chickadell is with us. Cristine leads the NJ ABLE program at the New Jersey Division of Disability Services, directing the state's ABLE programs, development strategies, compliance, legislative initiatives, and national alliance directives. Before joining the state division, Cristine previously served for 6 years at Atlantic County Government as the Director of Disability Services and ADA Coordinator. There, she led the Disability Advisory Board, spearheading a multitude of initiatives, including the first accessible beach guide, accessible parking projects, transportation resources, and implemented ADA public policy and steered employee accommodations. Cristine holds a bachelor's from Marist College, ADA coordinator certificate from the University of Missouri, and has nearly completed her master's degree in disability studies at CUNY, New York. Cristine, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to learn all about this.
Great,
if anybody has any technical issues or questions about the presentation, you can paste them in the chat box or in the Q&A box. Frankie, Bianca, and myself will be here to monitor that chat if anybody's having any problems. But now I'm just going to turn it over to Cristine. Cristine, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, everyone, for listening in today and for that kind introduction. I'm happy to be here today on behalf of the New Jersey Division of Disability Services out of Trenton, New Jersey, to represent our New Jersey ABLE program and to give you some information on the savings program today. So to get started, I have to give a little bit of an introduction on the mission at our Division of Disability Services, and that is to provide a single point of entry for those seeking disability-related information, and we aim to widely share that information that promotes maximum independence and full participation of people with disabilities within all aspects of community life. ABLE is an acronym. Those 4 letters you see on your screen up there stand for Achieving a Better Life Experience. And first and foremost, ABLE is a law. It was signed into law in 2014 by President Barack Obama, and ABLE became active in our state of New Jersey in 2016, only 7 years ago. And really, it became available for public saving in 2018. So we're really only looking at that possibility of public saving for only 5 years now. So this is a very young law and program. The ABLE Act, the ABLE law, was championed by a gentleman named Stephen J. Beck. He saw a gap in the lack of opportunity with saving and independence. He was a father of a daughter with Down syndrome, and he really championed this law to Congress and was vital in getting it to pass. So it is named after him on his behalf. New Jersey is part of the National ABLE Alliance, which is a consortium, a group of 19 states that have kind of joined forces and joined together to keep our ABLE programs very competitive and strong. So today I'm going to share some very basic information about the New Jersey ABLE program, the benefits of saving and investing, and how it's one of a kind in terms on its effects of Medicaid and SSI specifically, or as I like to say, kind of the lack of effects that it has on those federal benefits. The presentation, these slides that I have that you're about to view, take about 20 to 25 minutes. And at the end, we include some frequently asked questions, and I finish with ABLE experiences, people who use ABLE. It kind of really helps drive home what it is, who uses it, and how effective it is for people's lives. At the end, I'm going to answer some questions. So if you have any questions that arise throughout, please put it in the chat or note it down, and then I'll open up the floor for those questions, just because very often they get answered, especially in those frequently asked questions slides towards the end here. So, what is ABLE? ABLE is a savings program that enables the ability to preserve and protect assets while still qualifying for means-tested benefits. ABLE is called a 529A, which the A stands for appendix. This is the back end the end of the College Savings Tax Advantage Savings Law, a 529 account that you might have heard of before. This savings account is owned by a person with a disability. It can be opened by a person with a disability, or they can designate a representative to assist them or have signature authority over the account. ABLE helps people with disabilities and their families save money. It allows for saving for disability-related expenses on a tax-free basis. And as I mentioned earlier, it preserves the ability to benefit from federal programs. And the biggest ones that we talk about with ABLE are SSI and Medicaid. But it even helps with others such as SNAP, HUD, and TANF, for example. This is really the best part about this program. I said in the past when I do these presentations, if you get nothing else from the presentation today, this is what you want to take from it. The funds inside ABLE accounts do not count towards the asset resource limits established by these means-tested benefits programs. ABLE funds, the money inside, are intended to supplement and not replace such government benefits. ABLE accounts are very easy to establish, easy to use, have low costs, and the assets inside of them grow tax-free. So who and how does one qualify to open a New Jersey ABLE account? And this is what has to happen in order to do so. You have to require one of these two items here. So all applicants must have a disability present before the age of 26. There is a little aside here that I'm going to mention. Just at the tail end of 2022, we saw the ABLE age adjustment legislation passed, increasing the age limit to 46 years old, but this will not be in effect until 2026. So we have 2.5 years to see that. So right now, 26 is your age where you have to have that disability present or on set in order to open ABLE, but we will see it be 46 in a few years from now. Secondly, you have to have one of the following that is true. You have to be eligible for SSI or SSDI because of a disability. You experience blindness as deemed by the Social Security Administration, or a similar severe disability that a licensed physician or doctor can attest to and put in writing for you. We want you to have them put that in writing if that's one of your components here, but it's very important to note about ABLE that this is a self-certifying account. So you tell us, you say, yep, I have my disability present and I have one of these following, then you're going to go online or do the processes you wish to open an ABLE account. That's all you have to do. We're not requiring documentation, so to speak, okay? This is noted under penalty of perjury that it's self-certifying. So you're just going to tell us this is the case and you can open an ABLE account. So that proof of eligibility is not required. One thing that you do need is a form of a state identification. So if you don't have a driver's license, you should have some form of state ID, and you're going to have to put that number into your ABLE account. Also, we'd like to mention that we recommend that people keep a file or a diagnosis of this benefits verification in the event that our ABLE governing organizations audit you, which is the IRS or SSA. Okay. So next, the use of funds. What can ABLE money or ABLE funds be used to pay for? And this slide is important, but it's one that I like to really drive home that this is an extremely broad way that you can spend your ABLE money. ABLE funds have to be spent on qualified disability expenses, but this is a broad definition, and that definition is any expense incurred as a result of living with a disability and intended to improve quality of life. So think about that, intended to improve quality of life. I mean, that's vast, and that's up to you to tell us that it's improving your quality of life. So these qualified disability expenses are not limited to medical necessity. They are education, and an example of education would be tuition, tutor, or other educational resources such as books, I should say, health and wellness, housing, with examples being buy a home, pay rent, or make any home modifications with ABLE funds, transportation, and those expenses could be things such as mass transit, Uber or Lyft expenses, or even buying or maintaining your own personal vehicle. Legal fees, financial management, employment training and support, which can be paid with ABLE monies, and those would include job training and development, or even start your own business. Assistive technology, personal support services, oversight and monitoring, and lastly, and I like to say loudly, prepaid funeral and burial expenses. And I'll get to why I think that's a big deal there. I've even seen people pay for things with their ABLE funds that are approved and qualified, such as buying a smartphone, an Xbox, going on vacation, paying for paint of the walls of their group home, a sofa. I like to also say on a side note, arguably all but unlawful or illegal things can be paid with ABLE funds. So next slide here, some very special tax advantages, which is another great benefit of having an ABLE account. So ABLE savings may grow and be withdrawn tax-free, provided they're used for those qualified disability expenses we just discussed. Earnings on ABLE funds may compound federally tax-deferred, maximizing the return on your investment. So what does that mean? I had to myself dissect that second bullet there. What the heck does that mean? This means any earnings or interest on, which is interest on a savings account, or income from an ABLE investment or stock account made on the money, does not get reported on the account owner's annual tax return. ABLE savings will not have an impact on current benefits. With an ABLE account, assets saved will be disregarded when determining eligibility for important means-tested federal benefits. And the two most common that we talk about the most are SSI, Supplemental Security Income, and Medicaid. So many of us know that people with disabilities cannot typically save more than $2,000 in their own name without risking losing these benefits, SSI and Medicaid. Those are the income thresholds that are established. This ABLE program is the first of its kind to circumvent this parameter. So it's a huge, huge benefit here, and why somebody would really want to open an ABLE account. More details on the impact of SSI and Medicaid. So I'll say it one more time. ABLE assets, the saved monies, are disregarded and not considered assets for purposes of means-tested benefits. So for SSI, you can save up to $100,000 to continue to remain eligible for the benefit and are excluded from your SSI resource limit. If savings in ABLE go beyond 100 grand, SSI will temporarily cease, but be automatically reinstated when your balance drops again below $100,000. For Medicaid eligibility, ABLE assets are always entirely disregarded. Medicaid will always continue. I do have to mention that New Jersey ABLE is subject to a Medicaid payback provision. This can only be implemented after any and all qualified disability expenses have been paid. This is up to and including funeral expenses. That's why I said loudly on that last screen. So this involves Medicaid expenses only during the life of the ABLE account, and the state would have to file a claim for those funds. I'm going to go through some ABLE facts on these next few slides here. So the first one, the beneficiary of the account is the account owner or the person with a disability. Another person, such as a parent, guardian, or person with power of attorney, may be allowed signature authority over the account. There are legal limitations here and hierarchy priorities, but it's important to know that somebody can accompany somebody on their ABLE account. The person with the disability is always the account owner, but somebody can help them with it if they don't have that legal capacity to manage their own finances, so to speak. Secondly, income or interest earned by the account will not be taxed. So it's not taxed getting put inside the ABLE account, and we're not taxing it additionally coming out when it's withdrawn. Thirdly, contributions or deposit to the account can be made by anybody. And I think this is such a great feature of ABLE. We have a gifting link right on our website. It's called UGift. And friends and family can get a secure code and securely deposit money into their beneficiary's ABLE account. And I like to say this is such a great way, instead of getting like items or things, cash in an envelope in people's birthday or holiday time, for example, you can just go right to their website and deposit the money into their account for them very securely. Fourthly, contributions must be made using post-tax dollars. And because it's already been taxed, it will not be tax deductible for federal tax purposes. And this is a great example on that bullet about people with disabilities who are employed. Their employer is going to tax their earnings, but then when they go to put it in their ABLE account, it's not going to be taxed again. And lastly, one can open an ABLE account in any state. It does not need to be your state of residence. There are 46 states with ABLE plans. There's only 4 states that do not have ABLE as of now. So you can open an ABLE account in any state. ABLE accounts are very user-friendly. A person with a disability can open their own ABLE account. They have the power and control. You can open it online. And really, everyone should know too that it can only be opened online. Well, it can't be opened in a branch or a bank. That's what I mean by that. There's other ways you can open your ABLE account. You cannot walk in to a bank and open an ABLE account. ABLE accounts can be opened in about 20 minutes when you go online and apply, and a minimum of $25 has to be deposited to fund your account and make it ready to use. So that's just transferring funds, let's say, from one bank account into ABLE to get it funded and active. ABLE accounts can be accessed 24/7 from a personal computer, tablet, or mobile device, and it can be accessed by phone or online. This is an important slide here. ABLE affords very high maximums. So for New Jersey, and I will mention this is a national maximum, you can allow deposits are allowed for up to $17,000 per year. So maximum of 17 per year can be put into ABLE accounts. There is a balance limit of $305,000 for New Jersey. All states have different balance limits here, but in New Jersey, we allow $305,000. ABLE has very low fees. So there's 2 ways you can save with ABLE. The first way is through a checking savings account, and the other way is through a stock bond like portfolio account. So if you're somebody that opts, and you can do a combination of these, but if you're somebody that opts, let's say for this investment account, this explains your fees for that at 0.34 to 0.38% is how much it costs. Is less than 1%, depending on which investment option you select. That's the fee to have a portfolio account. Each account is subject to maintenance fees. And this is typical and aligned with any financial savings account, just to be honest with you. It's $14.50 per quarter, which is $58 a year. That's what that equates to, but we assess it quarterly at $14.50, which equals $4.83 to have an ABLE account. Opting for e-delivery for statements will discount these fees from $58 and drop it to $33 a year, I'm sorry. And that is assessed quarterly at $8.25 every 4 months. Some other fee details. Checking account option, you have a service charge monthly of $2, and that is waived, which will be zeroed out if your checking account balance is over $250 or if you opt for e-delivery. Okay, so this is a great visual slide to kind of show you if you choose how you can save your money with ABLE. We offer a very wide range of investment options for fund investing and to fit people's specific needs or to cater to people's goals and comfort with risk levels. So you have aggressive options with higher returns or conservative investments, as you can see by these pie charts here. If you choose to go the investment route, we recommend that you talk to a financial advisor, because that's not me. I can help you, but I can't tell you where to save your money, to assist with these options. So I just did say, but alternatively, is that the word, to investing, you also have the option of contributing to that FDIC insured checking accounts, and who administers that is a bank, Fifth Third National Bank. They are a Midwestern bank, and they hold the checking savings component for the entire ABLE Alliance. So all 19 states uses Fifth Third National Bank. You can withdraw money if you opt for that component, Fifth Third National Bank, or the checking savings, by having a debit card, which you will get sent to you upon eligibility applying, or you can write a paper check if you opt for the paper check component. So the next few slides surround some provisions that come with New Jersey ABLE. And the first one is about rollovers. And it is possible to roll over an existing 529 college savings account into the 529A, the ABLE account. And in order to do that, the ABLE beneficiary, the owner, must be either the current 529 account owner or a family member of the 529 college savings account holder, such as a sibling. The funds rolled over from that 529 into the 529A are still subject to that annual contribution limit of $17,000. The caps on that $17,000 are halted at the back end. It's not like you have to watch so meticulously that you're at 17. The fund isn't going to let you deposit more than 17 a year. It's going to stop you at that. This is the other provision, which is another great tax advantage, utilizing eligibility of the Savers Credit. This is also known as the Retirement Savings Contributions Credit. And what this does is allow for a tax credit to low and moderate income taxpayers who contribute to a retirement account, like an IRA or 401k, for example. In order to benefit from this Savers Credit, you must be the designated beneficiary and meet the following one of these three components. You have to be over 18, a full-time student. You can't be a full-time student, and you cannot be claimed as a dependent on another person's tax return. The credit amount that you would get is a certain percentage of your contribution, depending on annual gross income. And the maximum that you can benefit from this on your taxes is $2,000 a year. And this is a great website to go to for more information on the Savers Credit, or to potentially tip your accountant or your tax preparer to this website here. But don't worry about writing this down. Erin is going to disseminate these slides or forward these off, so you can just click these links to get to this and some others that are forthcoming. So this is one of my favorite slides, because really our goal with one thing that's a push through our nation, and one thing we love to see, is when people with disabilities are employed. And we don't want people to feel halted by getting jobs because of losing those federal benefits that we discussed. So in addition to saving the $17,000 in ABLE, you have the opportunity here now through the Able to Work Act, this legislation, for people that work to save beyond $17,000. This provision, or let me just go here. ABLE account owners who work can contribute beyond the 17. Contributions in excess of $17,000 are determined by the federal poverty income standards for that year, which right now this year is $13,590, or up to the amount of earned income, whichever is less. So if we do the math there, people with disabilities are eligible to save around $30,580 in ABLE account per year by filling out a form if they certify that they are employed. The only way that they can contribute to that beyond 17, however, is if they're not contributing in their employer's retirement account at the time. You can have a separate retirement account somewhere else, but the same calendar year, you cannot be contributing to your employer's retirement fund. I hope that was clear. So opening an account. To enroll, you can do it by website, email, phone call, or US snail mail an application. And the way to do so is you can visit savewithable.com. That's our website. To learn more about the program, call a census and speak with a program representative at the phone number 1-888-609-8869. Email a census or send the mail to a census. Now, I keep saying a census. I should have told you in the beginning of the slide that a census is the program manager for New Jersey ABLE. So we work very closely with a census. I work with them multiple times a month. But that is who kind of holds our portfolio investment for people on ABLE, and they manage our account. And that's who would help you sign up and enroll here, who you would call to do so if needed. The next four slides are going to be frequently asked questions. So that's why I told you guys to hold your questions to the end, because a lot of these might get answered. But again, I'm more than happy to answer them at the end too. So who can open an ABLE account? An individual with a disability or an authorized individual. Secondly, who qualifies as that authorized representative or authorized individual? And that could be a power of attorney, conservator or guardian, family member, or Social Security rep payee on behalf of the account owner. Thirdly, do you have to prove that those withdrawals, money that you take out of your ABLE account, are for qualified disability expenses? And the answer is no, not at the time. It's advised that you keep receipts of your purchases in the event that expenses are requested to be verified by the IRS or SSI, like an audit. And I always say it's probably not every time you go to an ATM and head into a convenience store that you need to keep your receipt. But if you're doing big expenses with ABLE, like a vacation or a home modification or a vehicle, definitely keep a file of that alongside of your eligibility in the event that you're audited. So can somebody have more than one New Jersey ABLE account? And the answer is no. No matter what state, or even if you move or live somewhere else, you can only have one ABLE account. I always like to use the example of people, we're so close to Pennsylvania here. If somebody has a Pennsylvania ABLE account and moves to New Jersey, they do not have to close their Pennsylvania ABLE account when they come here, but they cannot come here and also open a New Jersey ABLE account. You can only have one ABLE account no matter where you live. But to do that switch, to move from PA to New Jersey and go to a New Jersey ABLE account, that's a very easy transition, and there's no fees incurred with that. Secondly, can friends and family make contributions? I mentioned this earlier, and the answer is positively yes. It's a wonderful way to see your ABLE funds grow. And the gifting link, YouGift, is right on our website. How often can you change investments? Let's say you have that portfolio stock bond option with your ABLE program. You can change your investments twice a year. You can make new contributions at any time, but if you change your moderate conservative, that only can be done twice a year. And I will say on that pie chart that we saw earlier, and I can go back to it at the end, you can spread your ABLE funds however you wish. So when you open an ABLE account, you can opt for 50% of your money to be deposited in your checking savings, and you can put the other 50% into some form of a portfolio account. You can do 100% checking savings or 100% investment. You can make that ratio whatever you want when you save. Will ABLE savings affect HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development? And the answer is no. ABLE funds are disregarded as assets when determining housing eligibility. And this is a website here that you could go to for more information on that. Can somebody have an ABLE account and a special needs trust or pooled income trust? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. And these programs really do work well together. And this next slide here kind of goes through the differences here between an ABLE account and a special needs trust or pooled income trust. So with ABLE, people have more control. The account beneficiary is the account owner. Account owners have the ability to make choices and control their funds as their circumstances would change, for example. With a special needs trust, the trustee or trustees have complete control over that account. The ability to access funds, access your money. ABLE is easier to access. We have various options, as I said many times, checking, debit, which make them much more flexible and accessible than other types of trusts and savings accounts. With the special needs trust, funds are more complicated and have more rules in order to preserve eligibility for benefits. And then lastly, your setup costs. I said it earlier too, it costs $25 of your own money to fund your ABLE account, to deposit in there. A special needs trust typically have very high minimums, and I think they almost always require an attorney to assist with setup. These next 3 slides here, I'm going to read to you 3 ABLE stories. I think it really will help everyone understand and appreciate some of the folks that use ABLE and how it helps them. So the first one is the parent of an ABLE account owner, and her name is Lauren, and she is her son's strongest advocate. It is her #1 job. That's why she opened an ABLE account in February 2017 for Stephen, who has trisomy 9 mosaic, a rare chromosomal disorder. Funds in Stephen's account will be used to save for his future and to replace the family's aging van with a wheelchair accessible one. Lauren quotes, As a parent, Able has given me peace of mind in knowing I can set my son up financially for his current and future needs without risking benefits. Creating an Able account is not time-consuming and very easy to do from the comfort of your own home. You really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Even small contributions over time can have a significant impact on quality of life. And here you see pictures of Lauren and her family and Stephen and their van that they purchased with Able funds. The second story is about Katie. She's an Able account owner herself. She's 28 years old and works full-time and has Medicaid. She has cerebral palsy and is using her Able account to save for disability-related equipment and to build her dream HGTV quality accessible home. Katie quotes, "The process of getting an Able account is pretty painless. It seems counterintuitive to everything we have been told. I'm a living, breathing example that this does not count against you. I'm getting the same services as before. It doesn't count against you. And unlike a trust, it is not expensive." And there you see Katie with her family and her cats. And lastly, Able National Resource Center Ambassador Edward. He is also an account owner. He is 31 years old and Able eligible due to a spinal cord injury from a hit and run car accident when he was 17 years old. So this story is a very good example as how you don't have to be under the age of 26 to be eligible and benefit from the program. Edward has his Master's of Business Administration degree and is working 2 part-time jobs. He's using his Able account to save up for vehicle modifications and to finally move out of his parents' house and into his own accessible housing. Edward quotes, "Able has allowed me to start saving without penalizing or jeopardizing my benefits. My parents worry what will happen to me when they are no longer able to help or they have died. Able gives them some peace of mind about my future. Plus, unlike a special needs trust that must be controlled by a trustee or trustees, Able gives me, a person with a disability, control over my finances and increased independence." And there you see Edward with Star Wars. I think that's Star Wars, folks. Yeah. Yep. Princess Leia. So this slide here shows some really great Able resources. Anytime anybody comes to me with Able questions as the New Jersey representative, these are the sites that I go to for the answers. The Able National Resource Center, ablenrc.org. The Social Security Administration has a great page on Able accounts where you can get kind of regulatory reference of any of your questions, or I can help you. The IRS has a great Able account site. Here's the link. And I also will mention the IRS has a YouTube page. If you wanted to go to that, it's fascinating. It's very interesting. It's on YouTube, IRS on YouTube, Able accounts. And then lastly, which is a newer organization that is strong and robust, and that's Able Today as administered through the National Association of State Treasurers. Also a really great resource and a strong group of folks that are really trying to pass even more legislation to make Able even more reachable and robust than it already is, because it is so young. This is my contact information on this slide here. I am here and happy to answer anything or assist with anything, so do not hesitate to reach out to me directly through my office direct line or phone. And I do like to mention that I am available for presentations anywhere in the state via in-person or Zoom. So if you have a group or any constituent groups or any organizations that could benefit from this Able information, please reach out. I'd be happy to share it. I am going to open it up for questions now. So Erin, if you could let me know if anybody has questions.
Yeah. We don't have any right now, but if anybody would like to type them in either the chat box or the Q&A box, I'm also going to put the slides in the chat box so you can take those, and that has Cristine's information on it as well. And these will also be up on our website, and you can click that link that's in the chat box too, to also find the slides there once we post them. So in the next day or two, they'll be up there as well. Does anybody have any questions for Cristine about the ABLE program? Don't see. If you're typing them in the chat box, just also make sure that you select either hosts and panelists or everyone so that we can see them. Is there an age limit for a person to start an ABLE account?
That's a great question. And the answer is no. At any age, they can open an ABLE account. Even if it's a child, they would have an authorized individual or representative assist them in opening the account or opening it for them on their behalf. And it's a great idea to start at a young age to start seeing their ABLE funds grow. So no age restriction.
Excellent. And a thank you from Mirba. If anyone has any questions they think of after the presentation is over, you can definitely reach out to Cristine, or you could reach out to us here at the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project, and we can forward them over to Cristine as well. I know sometimes it's not until the webinar is over that I think of a bunch of questions. If there's any more questions, you can go ahead and ask them. Oh, here we have one from Kevin. If a person has a guardian or custodian because the person is not legally competent, does the guardian open the ABLE account?
Yes, somebody can be an authorized representative on the behalf of the individual with a disability. That person with a disability is always the account owner, but they are allowed to have somebody have signature authority over their account. So yes.
Excellent. I know I learned so much today. The ABLE accounts are something that, you know, we hear a lot, but it's great to have all of the details and information about this extremely important and amazing program. All right, excellent. Well, if there's no more questions, like I said, if you think of one after the webinar is over, feel free to reach out to Cristine or us here at NJSAP, and we can get those forwarded over. But Cristine, thank you so much. This was so informative, so fantastic. I really appreciate you coming out here to talk about this program.